Hello everyone. I thought I'd do a video. I see the Doom 143 is doing a top 50 comics contest, and he's got some good prizes. There's a New Mutants 87 is one of the prizes. Teen Titans comic up for grabs. So a big shout out to the Doom 143, and I've just spent a while going through my comic boxes and pulling out 50 comics. They're not all keys, they're just comics that I like or have had for years or whatever. You've seen a lot of these comics before in other videos, but I think it's a great contest. This was a tag that was going around. The Doom said in his video when I first started getting active on YouTube. So good on you, the Doom, for doing this contest, and I'll show you my top 50 books. Yeah, I haven't done a contest entry for any comic contests for a while, but I like the idea of this, and I just watched Undisputed Frost's top 50 comics video, and I thought, yeah, let's get in on this one and support the Doom 143 at the same time as well, because he's got a great channel. You should all, if you're not subscribed to his channel, you should. He gets some great variant covers, and he's got some good comics. So yeah, right. So we'll start with I've got piles of comics over here. So let's have a look at what I've got. We'll start off with a big key that I won. The first actual contest I entered on YouTube, and that was from Trilogy's Comic Corner, and I won his contest, and this is the prize that he was giving away. So it was Avengers 57, the first appearance of Vision. Like I said, you've seen some of these comics before, so yeah. But yeah, so that's a pretty cool book to own, a key issue. Never thought I'd own this book. Remember seeing it on a calendar as a kid at my mate's place, because he had a Marvel calendar, and I always loved this cover. So 30 years later, and I actually own it. So I got it for free. So yeah, pretty stoked about that, owning that book in my collection. And I'll just put my coffee over here so I don't spill it on my comics. Here's a comic I've had since I was a kid. Yeah, and this is Mighty Thor number 374. And this is part of the Mutant Massacre and the beginning of the Archangel storyline. This is connected to X Factor, and I've had this book for so long that yeah, I love it. So yeah, and the artist Walt Simonson did X Factor and the Mighty Thor at the same time. So cool book to own. So that's a book that's in my collection that I've had for years. Here's some books that I picked up about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, and I got them for $6. I think it was about $6. Might have been, yeah, at a second-hand bookshop, and yeah, for $6 you can't complain about this run. You've already heard this story before, so I won't go into it much. But there's Wolverine number 1, number 2. I was pretty stoked about getting this run. Number 3 and number 4. So yeah, just luck. It was just lucky to get those. I've had this since it came out. It's a lot of my comics aren't in the best of condition, and this is one of those ones. But I own it, and it's newsstand edition, and well, most of the books I own are. And this was brought down at the local bookshop many years ago. And here it is, Wolverine number 1. Not in the greatest condition, but I don't care, because it's not leaving my collection. So yeah, so there you go. So that's a cool book to have in your top 50 list. Speaking of the Archangel, I thought I'd show you some X Factors. So we got X Factor number 1, which I've owned for a number of years. For a while there, I just couldn't track this book down. The Return of the Original Team of the X-Men, and I had the first, let's say, 30 issues of X Factor for years, apart from number 1. So that took me a while to find, and I got it about, I think about 8 years ago. I managed to find this book, and now I see it all the time. So yeah, isn't that funny? So that's a cool book. X Factor for me was one of the key X-Men books that I got into when I started reading the X-Men. X Factor and the Mark Silvestri X-Men was how it all started for me. So then you got the first appearance of Apocalypse. Pretty cool issue to own. Not as hot as it was a year or so ago, but still a key issue. And yeah, pretty important character. So I thought I'd show that book. And then this book here, first appearance of Archangel. I've had this, yeah, what year did it come out? 87. Yeah, well, I probably bought it back in around that time. So this was bought down at the local bookshop back then. And yeah, pretty cool to still own it. So yeah, this will be a long video, so just bear with me. Since I'm a big X-Men fan, I went through my boxes and I could have grabbed heaps of books, but I haven't. So we'll just bear with me. So I've picked some X-Men books out of my X-Men collection because I have a few. So we've got my earliest X-Men. I thought I'd show you my earliest one. So we've got number 5. Number 5. I mean, number 5's got a Brotherhood of Evil Mutant. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants cover. I think it's their second appearance. So I must get number 4. It's a Grail book for me, number 4. So then we've got the first appearance of the Avengers and X-Men together. It's a pretty cool book to own. It's, yeah, stoked to have this book in my collection. And first appearance of the Sentinels. So yeah. Also, I've been doing this video and I forgot to. The Doom wants you to shout out 3 subscribers or people that are under 100. So No Earth. I went through my sub list on my YouTube channel. We found No Earth, and he's got 27 subs. Backward Compatible, and he's got 11, and that's Larry Higgins and Maverick Freelance doing their own thing, talking about comics, talking about gaming, talking about all sorts of stuff, so you should check them out. And Luke Island, he's only got 5 subs, so sub those fellas up. Definitely do that. Help them out. Cool. I just about forgot that, so hope you see that, Doom. Yeah. So we've got the big Grail of my collection. We've got the giant size X-Men Annual number 1. So pretty stoked to have that. That was just luck that I got this book. Just in the right place, right time to get that book. Yeah. So we've got X-Men 94. Another Grail book. Didn't pay much for it, and pretty stoked to own it. We've got the first appearance of Kitty Pryde, the White Queen, and Sebastian Shaw. I can't remember if there was anybody else, but there it is. It's in a pretty good condition, this book too, so pretty stoked to have it. Good book. First appearance of Dazzler in the X-Men, and yeah, so had this book for years. It's a fairly hot book. Everybody seems to want it nowadays, so actually Larry Higgins just got it recently, which is pretty cool. The death of the Phoenix or Jean Grey, you know, iconic cover. Great book. I've had this one for a number of years, probably 25 years I've had this book in my collection. Pretty stoked to have this book. Great cover. Found that same box that had the Wolverine miniseries in it. Also had these two books in it, and I only paid, I paid whatever it was, $1 something for this book. Days of Future Past. And 142. So it's a way better copy than my original copy of it, which is this one. So this one here is an interesting story because I've had this for years. It's got tape down the side of it. One of the first X-Men books I actually bought was this one, and it was at a garage sale, or garage sale as Americans say. And here it was. So I bought that for about 50 cents back in the late 80s. So, but yeah, better copy of it. So now, this is where I really got into it with the X-Men. So here's my all-time favourite cover from this era of the X-Men. The Brood, Wolverine, him changing. Great storyline. Newsstand edition. It's a bit beat up, but I don't care. You can even see the price on it from the local bookshop. $2.85 it cost us back then. You probably think, oh gee, that's dear, but this is back in the late 80s. So yeah, so that's cool. First appearance of Jubilee. Same story as the others. I've had this since I was a kid. Bought this from the local bookshop, so pretty stoked to have that. First Jim Lee X-Men and the Death of Storm, which he didn't stay dead for very, very long at all, but great book to own. Stoked to have it. Love it. First Gambit, or first full appearance, whatever you want to say. I've had this for so many years. It's not funny. I mean, it's got writing on it. I don't care. Still have it. So I've had this for years, like the other ones. So can't complain. Awesome book to have. Now this is just a personal favourite of mine. It's a Jim Lee cover, and it's got Cable, Archangel, Storm, and Wolverine. And this is where Storm regains her adult form. So I thought I'd just show that book off because I love that cover. Here's another cover I really like, back in the day. This is when the X-Men reformed after all the Shadow King storyline. It was before the Shadow King storyline. This was the hunt for the beginning of the hunt for Professor X, and the X-Men sort of reformed. So Jim Lee cover had multiple artists drawing in this issue, but I love this cover. I think it's one of G-Pack's favourite X-Men covers too. So I love his Jean Grey, the way and Wolverine. So thought I'd show that book off. Sorry about the line in here; it's not the best at the moment in this. So that's my X-Men titles. I could have showed you heaps more, but I don't want to bore you with all the X-Men books I've got. So I met Tom Taylor, the writer of Wolverine, all new Wolverine, in March, and I got my Wolverine variant cover of all new Wolverine #1 signed by him, and this is a splash page from Hulk 181. Is it? I actually haven't read Hulk 181, so there's his signature, and this is one of my favourite variant covers I've got. So thought I'd show you that. So he was really nice to meet, and I was stoked to meet him and get that book signed by him. So we've got two Miss Marvel books, and you've seen these books. One of them I've acquired recently. So we've got number 16, first cameo of Mystique. And first full appearance, and first full appearances of Mystique. So, as you can see, very cool to get those books. Here's another book. It's in pretty rough condition. It's still right though. I didn't pay much for it. I think about a couple of bucks maybe. And that is one of the first appearances of the black costume, Secret Wars, number 8. So yeah, that's cool. I've had this for a number of years, and I love it. I love this cover, and I'm actually collecting this run at the moment. The main number 1 of the New Mutants, but the main issue I don't have yet is New Mutants 98, but I will have it soon. So I will have it this year, definitely. So going on with the New Mutants, we've got annual number 2, first appearance of Psylocke, Betsy Braddock. That's a cool book to own. I'm wondering what's happened to her brother, Captain Britain. I'm interested. So I acquired this a few weeks ago. It's a second printing of the book, but I'll take it. And when I win the Doom 143's contest, however, a first printing as well. No, I'm only joking. But here's the second printing of New Mutants 87, first appearance of Cable. So very cool book to own. Here's a book I've owned for many years. It's the graphic novel of Excalibur. So when the X-Men, after Fall of the Mutants, they died, well, allegedly they were hiding, they were in the outback of Australia. So the injured X-Men, Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde and Rachel Summers, formed Excalibur. And it's one book drawn by one of my favourite artists, Alan Davis. So, and you can't go talk about Excalibur without this one here, Excalibur number 1. So I've only just got this recently, and I got a high grade copy of it. It looks pretty damn cool. So stoked to have this book in my collection. I've never owned it till this year, so I'm pretty happy about that. I used to read my best mate's copy of it all the time, all his Excalibur run. I'm actually hunting out that run at the moment. So then when we talk about New Mutants, we've got number 100, newsstand edition. I bought this down the road back in the day. A lot of my books, older books from that era, are from down there. So we're into the last. Oh no, we've still got more. So I don't know what I was doing over there. So now we've got what have we got? Some more books. So we've got this pile is what's left to go. So I'll show you. So I got this the other week. This is the giant size Wolverine annual of Old Man Logan. Love this cover. It's a variant. It's like those classic comics. If you've ever read those classic comics, it's a cover swipe of one of those comics. So love this story arc. Stoked to get this. Never thought I'd get this book with the variant. I've got 2 versions of the variant, but I like this one the best. So pretty happy. I'm trying to complete that run at the moment. And when you go that run, you've got to go with the first issue of it. So there it is. Watched Logan recently, and I loved that movie. So pretty stoked to have this book now in my collection. Got this recently. This is a book that I've wanted since I was a little kid, and now that I own it, and yes, I bought it cheap in a sale online. So we've got Hulk 340. Incredible Hulk 340. Love that this cover gets cover swiped a lot. I think I've seen a Spawn one recently. And a Marvel Zombies one recently. So, very cool. Very cool. Was stoked to get this. Very, very happy to get this book in my collection now. So, Todd McFarlane rules, I reckon. And speaking of Todd McFarlane, we've got Hulk 340. I've always loved this cover. And I got this last year, this book, to add to my collection. So, pretty happy. As I'm a Doctor Who fan, I thought I'd better add a bit of Doctor Who to my list. So I met Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor, a couple of years ago now, and Jenna Coleman probably 2.5 years ago, up in Auckland. Me and my mates sort of stalked Peter Capaldi after a live show he was doing, and hung around the back, the side door, and he'd come out, and I went to a con and met Jenna Coleman, and got them both to autograph my #1 variant Doctor Who 12th Doctor comic, which I'm pretty stoked about. One of my grail books in my collection, this is. And season 10 of Doctor Who is awesome. It's as good as the earlier stuff when David Tennant was the Doctor. That's just my opinion. But yeah, if you want to watch something cool, watch season 10 of Doctor Who. Really love it. So, my mate, Abby O'Rourke, she's a good artist. And she does a lot of pet portraits and painting and all that. So I thought I'd get her to do a drawing for me. I've always liked the Mighty Thor. And I always liked the wee Mighty Thor character in the corner up the top from the 80s. So I got her to draw it on a comic on Civil War 2. And that's what she came up with. And I love it. She's done a good job. I'm pretty stoked about that one. So then I met this artist in Christchurch at this con in March, and his name's Ryan Green, and he does commissions, and I got him to draw me a Wolverine cover, and this is what he came up with. And it is badass. That's what I can say about that. I love it. Absolutely love his style. And yeah, that's a cool book. So here's another variant. And this is the Uncanny Avengers #1. And this is a Deadpool variant. And I love it. I love this cover. It was alright, this story. I've got the first 15 issues of this book. And it was alright. But do love this cover. It's a cool variant. He's got Cable Sucks on there in charcoal. He's got all sorts of things written in the background on that board. So blackboard, I mean, not charcoal. Yeah. So now I've got a Walking Dead collection. So I'll just show you a couple of my Walking Dead comics. So we've got the first appearance of the Governor, number 27. Pretty happy to have this book in my collection. And the first appearance of Negan. I've got the Chromium cover. So there's all the people that have died in the first 100 issues in this cover. And there's Rick Grimes. Pretty happy to have this book. Here's a book that I've owned since, I think it was at 1989. I'm a big GNR fan, Guns N' Roses. So I've got a Rock and Roll Comics book. There was a Metallica one. I don't own the Metallica one, but I do own the Guns N' Roses one, and I love it. I've had this for years, and it is awesome to still have it. So hopefully their 30th anniversary Appetite for Destruction celebration that's coming up. So either this month or July. I'm hoping that Izzy Stradlin and Steve Adler rejoin the band to do a live concert with them. Hoping. Probably won't happen, but you never know. So here's another book that I've owned for a long time, and I saved my pocket money for a few weeks and got this put away at the local bookshop to get it. And this is the 1986 annual. And, featuring Judge Dredd, and it's pretty cool. And I've owned this ever since. And it took me a few weeks to mow lawns and to save up to get this book. But, yeah. How many years later? 31 years later, and I still have got it, and it's in really good condition. So, that's a cool book to own. Here's another annual, and I've owned this since probably 1983 or 1984. And that's Battle Comic. I've got a big pile of battles. I will go through them one day and show you my Battle Comic collection. There's over 400 or 500 issues in that collection. So that's just what you get. Charlie's War, one of my favourite comics ever. So yeah. And one more book, because we're talking about Judge Dredd. He celebrated 40 years this year. The comic that he was in, 2008, he did. And here is the 40th anniversary special issue with the two main characters from 2080, Johnny Alpha, Strontium Dog, and Judge Dredd. So, great book. I've been collecting that book all my life. And you should too. You should read some of it. Yeah. So that's my video. I won't keep you much longer. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. And like, comment, or subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel. And big shout out to the Doom143 for doing this contest. Well done. Awesome effort. And keep it up. And look forward to winning your contest, man. See you later, brother. Bye.